We have a lot of people reaching out to us wanting to relocate to the greater Sacramento Metro, and Folsom always tends to be one of the top 2 or 3 areas that ends up coming up as a topic of conversation. But stick around, because today we're gonna clue you in on an area that doesn't show up on a lot of people's radars, but it definitely should be one of your top areas if you're considering moving or relocating to the greater Sacramento Metro.
Now, we get a lot of people reaching out to us about Folsom, and the main reason a lot of people love Folsom is because of the schools, the safety ratings that you can find on public forums, and the lifestyle that Folsom has to offer. Now, in today's video, we're gonna share with you all about Granite Bay and why this is a popular choice that you might wanna consider.
Now, we're gonna be giving you 5 pros and 5 cons of what it's like living in Granite Bay, California, or definitely things that you should be considering if you're thinking about moving to the greater Sacramento Metro. Now, Lauren's gonna be covering all the pros about what makes Granite Bay, California an awesome city to live in, and I'm gonna be covering all the cons or the things that could potentially deter you of living in Granite Bay, California, so you get a full picture of everything that you're getting into.
Now, the first pro on our list is going to be the education here in Granite Bay, California. Now, the schools here are amazing. They're all highly ranked, and they're one of the reasons that this area is a super desirable area for people moving to the greater Sacramento area. Now, the schools here, specifically the elementary schools, they rank anywhere from a 9 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 overall on greatschools.org. Now, when we talk about the high school, Granite Bay High School is a high school here that has so much to offer when it comes to education. It's no wonder it's one of the top schools in the state for public education. Now, Granite Bay High School ranks a 10 out of 10 overall on greatschools.org, a 10 out of 10 for test scores, a 10 out of 10 for college readiness, and a 10 out of 10 for equity. Now, this school, on top of having extremely high scores and being well known in the area, it's also known for its sports programs here as well. So this school offers every sports program that you can possibly think of. They've got water polo, football, basketball, volleyball, track, cross country, flag football. These sports programs usually make it to the division playoff round, and they do really well in the playoffs. So if sports are something that you're interested in getting your kiddos into and you want to be able to see them succeed, or maybe even get a scholarship past high school, Granite Bay is a great place to be because of their sports programs that they have here. On top of high test scores, high ratings, and a great sports program, they also offer many advanced placement classes, also known as AP classes, as well as the IB program here. So if you're looking to get your kid into a high school that has a ton to offer, as well as college readiness and getting them ready for the next part of their life and moving forward, Granite Bay High School is a great place to be. Now, I personally have kids that have attended the schools in Granite Bay, California, and I can tell you they are amazing. These schools really do set your kiddos up for success. And we've had nothing but great experiences at all of these schools. I can't recommend them enough.
Now, while Lauren gets to talk to you about all the pros of living in Granite Bay, I get to talk to you about all the bad stuff or all the cons about living in Granite Bay. So the first one that I'm gonna bring up, con number 1, is going to be lack of walkability and the lack of public transportation. Kind of go hand in hand. Granite Bay is gonna be primarily located out by Folsom Lake, so there's just not a lot of public transportation or a lot of public infrastructure out there as it relates to, like, you know, bus routes. You don't have the RT light rail system that's gonna take you into downtown Sacramento, so there's just not gonna be a lot of public transportation for you out here. But the other thing that I also wanna say too, though, is that there's also not gonna be a ton of like walkability as it relates to residential neighborhoods to some of your main shopping centers. So really they're gonna have 3 main shopping centers. One's gonna be on the corner of like Sierra College and Douglas. The other one's gonna be about halfway down Douglas. It's gonna be called Corey Ponds, which is where I'm at right now. Now, and the last shopping center is gonna be at the end of Douglas Boulevard down by the lake at Auburn, Folsom, and Douglas. So, but overall, from where a majority of the residential neighborhoods are, or where, you know, some of these pockets of homes are gonna be, it's not gonna be very walkable if you were, you know, coming from that city life where, you know, you walk to get your groceries. That's gonna be con number 1. Con number 1 is gonna be the lack of walkability to some of your major necessities and lack of public transportation.
The next pro on our list is going to be that you can find a ton of variety of houses here. No matter what type of house you're looking for, Granite Bay most likely has something that you'll like here. So Granite Bay is known for its high-end luxury living. It's also known for its gated communities, as well as its tract-style homes. You can find a ton of variety when it comes to houses here. You've got houses that were built in the 60s that are older, smaller homes. You've also got homes that are built all around the high school in Tree Lake Village that offer amazing parkways and walkways all throughout the neighborhoods. Then you also have homes out by the lake, some of which sit on kind of a hill where you can see views of beautiful Folsom Lake, and you have access to trails that go around Folsom Lake, which is awesome. So no matter what you're looking for when it comes to a house, Granite Bay definitely has a variety, and it'll have something that you'll definitely love here.
So the number 2 con on our list is going to be the lack of nightlife and the lack of things to do. So Granite Bay, California is going to be primarily a residential community. You're going to have pockets of homes sprinkled throughout. We're going to be doing an updated version of the best neighborhoods here, but one of the things that you got to keep in mind is this is a smaller, quieter town or quieter community. So pretty much 8 o'clock, 8:30, everything kind of shuts down. You're gonna have some restaurants sprinkled throughout the town. They may stay open a little bit later, 9, 9:30, but for the most part, you don't have a ton of bars, you don't have a ton of like nightlife things to do. It's just a quieter area of Sacramento Metro that just doesn't have a whole lot of it going on right now. So if lack of nightlife or lack of things to do is definitely something that you can't live without, then Granite Bay just may not be the community for you.
So the next pro on our list is going to be that Granite Bay has a strong sense of community, and it has really friendly and nice people here. Now, one thing I can tell you with my daughters growing up in this community and going to the schools here, the community really rallies behind the school systems. People really get involved in the schools. You've got tons of volunteers that'll come out for different events at the schools. You've also just got tons of people that really get involved in all of the different kind of community events that happen around here as well. It's a really great place to be. And one thing is, like, when you're out walking some of these trails, or if you're playing at a park with your kiddos, everybody's super friendly, everybody's always happy, they're always in a good mood, and it's a great area to be a part of.
Now, bringing us to con number 3. Con number 3 is going to be the higher cost of utilities. And when I talk about the higher cost of utilities, I'm specifically talking about Pacific Gas and Electric. Now, Pacific Gas and Electric, also known as PG&E, is one of the most outrageous utility companies in all of California, right there behind Southern California Edison and San Diego Gas and Electric. So most of Placer County minus Roseville is going to have Pacific Gas and Electric. Now, you know, in Granite Bay, some of the homes can be a little bit larger than normal, which is also going to lead to, you know, higher operating costs, higher utility costs. And one of the things, or one of the feedback things that we get from people who are moving or relocating to the area, if they're not familiar with Pacific Gas and Electric, it's going to be a little bit of shocker in the summertime when you have to run your AC, and that bill can be quite large. So, you know, keep in mind that, you know, there are really 3 utility companies that service the greater Sacramento Metro. You have Roseville Utility Company that just services Roseville. They're going to be the cheapest. Then you're going to have SMUD, which is going to be Sacramento Municipality Utility District, and that's going to cover most or all of Sacramento County. And you're going to have Pacific Gas and Electric, which is going to be everything outside of the greater Sacramento Metro. But keep that in mind, electricity usage is always going to be specific based off of the house, how old it is, and how your family uses it. But that's one of the other cons to Granite Bay, is you're going to have Pacific Gas and Electric. So maybe it's an option that you decide that you want to go solar, or you want to purchase some solar panels and put them on your house to kind of offset some of that electricity usage. But that tends to be one of the cons that we get from people who are thinking or considering about Granite Bay, California.
All right, so the next pro on our list for Granite Bay, California is going to be all of the amazing outdoor recreation here. Now, personally, this is my favorite thing about Granite Bay, is there's so many awesome outdoor things that you can do in this community. You don't have to leave. So with Granite Bay, you've got the 2 main entrances to Folsom Lake. The first one being at the end of Douglas Boulevard, which is the main entrance. You can launch your boat from this entrance. You can go to the beach where they've got lifeguards on duty during the summer. You can rent paddle boards out there. You can rent different watercraft things out there. There's also a lot of trails out there at that entrance. And you can also drive a little bit further back to a place like Dotton's Point, where you can kind of off-road a little bit and back your car right up to Folsom Lake for a lake day, so you don't have to lug all your stuff if you want to go do a day trip out to the lake and hang out and enjoy time by the water in the sunshine. Now at Folsom Lake, there's also a lot of different areas for mountain biking trails where you're close to the water, or there's mountain biking trails that go a little bit further back, which is a great thing as well. Now the other entrance to Folsom Lake, that's one of the main entrances, is going to be Beals Point, which is a little bit further down Auburn Folsom Road. So at this entrance, there's another beach area, there's trails. You can walk on some of the levee roads, and you can go on a big kind of loop walk that walks you close to the water with gorgeous views of Folsom Lake. Now some other outdoor recreation things that you can also do in this area are going to be out by the lake. There's going to be a couple different equestrian facilities. So if you have a horse, or if you need to board a horse, or if you want to get your kiddo into horseback riding lessons, that's something that you can do in this community as well. The cool thing about the equestrian facilities is that they are located close to the lake. So if you're out horseback riding, or if you have a horse, you can go riding on some of those trails that are near the lake, which just makes for a beautiful, fun day. Now, another cool thing when it comes to outdoor recreation here is going to be Granite Bay has its own private country club with the Granite Bay Country Club. Now here you've got an awesome private golf course that's absolutely beautiful. It's got beautiful houses that line this course, and this course is a private course, but they also do a ton of fun events here if you're part of this country club. We have friends that are part of this country club, and every once in a while Lance gets to go golfing there, and every time he comes home, he talks about how amazing this course is maintained and how nice the people are there and just what a great course it is. So that's something that they have here as well if you're interested in being a part of the private country club.
Now, con number 4 on our list is going to be custom houses. Now, this one's going to sound a little bit weird, but stick with me for a second here. So custom houses. So there are a lot of different types of homes that you're going to find in Granite Bay. You're going to find some tract homes, you're going to find some ranch rural properties, but you're also going to find some communities that are going to have a little bit more of that custom home feel. Now, a lot of people may think, man, custom homes, that's a pro, right? Now, usually custom homes are designed specifically for the homeowner. So with that being said, I've seen some pretty quirky stuff. I've seen some really funky stuff. I've seen some places where they're built with, 2 bedrooms and 4 studies and 3 libraries. So the thing with custom homes is just remember that some of these homes at some of these price points were designed specifically for the homeowner's needs, wants, goals, and that may not always line up with your needs, wants, and goals. So keep that in mind. Custom homes may be a pro for some, and you can find some pretty cool stuff out here, but there's also going to be that element where some of these homes were going to be designed specifically for the homeowner, and they may have some little quirks about them. They may have some little nuances that you don't like about them. They may have some finishes, fits, features, things that are just not your taste or style. And the other side of that coin is, some of these homes may have been redone or designed, in the early 90s, early 2000s, and a lot of that stuff, a lot of those color schemes, and a lot of those things have changed. So you'll definitely find a lot of custom homes in Granite Bay. However, keep in mind that those custom homes may not always match what your style is. But the plus is there are starting to be a couple of new home communities in Granite Bay, so it's going to be a little bit more updated. You're going to see a little bit more of, maybe those new color palettes and some of those things, but we are starting to see some new home construction that's starting to come up in the Granite Bay area.
Now, the last pro on my list for Granite Bay is going to be that it's a convenient location. Another great thing about Granite Bay is that you're super close to things, but you're not right in the hustle and bustle of everything. So this community is a small suburb. It does get quiet and pretty much everything shuts down after 8:30, 9 o'clock. But if you need to access things like a hospital, or if you need to go shopping and you want to go to the mall, you're really not that far. You're only about a 5 to 10 minute drive down Douglas to get to the closest hospital, and you're only about a 10-minute drive to get to the Roseville Galleria, where they have over 300 stores. And if you need to make your way to the Sacramento International Airport, it's about a 30 to 35-minute drive. So the nice thing about Granite Bay is that you have fun things to do right in this community, but if you need to travel outside of Granite Bay to get to some of the other things, you're not that far, and it's super convenient. And it's nice that all of kind of that craziness and the shopping stuff isn't directly in this city. It's kind of a quiet city, which is really nice.
All right, and con number 5, the last con, and probably the con that we get the most frequent from a lot of people, is going to be the affordability in Granite Bay. Now, while Granite Bay does have awesome schools and it has great community feel and it's super close and it's proximity related to, both 80 and the 50 freeways, the affordability or the entry point to get into Granite Bay is definitely going to be higher than the Sacramento Metro. And you might also see just kind of the comparison if you're shopping around for, 2 similar type homes. Same bedroom count, same bathroom count, same square footage count. You may find a home in Granite Bay that's a little bit older, or maybe needs some updating, or might need some of the systems replaced. So usually the biggest con that we get from people who are either living in the Sacramento Metro or they're moving up here from the Bay Area, Southern California, usually the affordability is another key determining factor into those pros and cons. So that was the 5 pros and 5 cons of living in Granite Bay, California. Now, some of those pros are gonna be really awesome, and some of those cons may not be that bad. But if you are thinking about moving or relocating to the greater Sacramento Metro and you wanna talk more about Granite Bay, California, that phone number is gonna be popping up. We are the ones that answer every phone call, email, and text message, and we absolutely love it when you guys reach out to us. Or better yet, schedule that one-on-one Zoom call, so that way we can put together a strategy session of what it's like moving to the greater Sacramento Metro.